The next wave of AI is going to be a bit scary. For example, deepfakes, replicating someone's likeness. There's going to be companies where it's one person, literally $1 billion company with one person, and AI agents just like doing all of the work.
In this episode, we dive deep into the world of AI with Jelani Abdus-Salaam, an innovative entrepreneur and AI expert revolutionizing how businesses leverage artificial intelligence.
It's a different world that we're about to enter. I don't think a lot of people understand the gravity of what's happening. The Pentagon want to deploy deepfakes that are super realistic that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
To undermine their political
opponents. Who knows?
We've given birth to artificial intelligence. It's not ready yet to live without us. At some point it will be ready, and then humans will just die out.
There's these apps that are printing money just like building these AI.
And they're making money with it?
Printing.
I'm worried, I'm curious, I'm excited, all at the same time. There's two things everyone needs to double down on that wants to be of any sort of relevance. Number one, dude, so how did you start getting into AI? Or do you have like a tech background or?
I'm techie. I've built a lot of different tools with no code, but I'm not like a coder per se. Yeah. But I started Best of AI. Is this actually the podcast, right?
Yeah, we're rolling,
Okay.
man.
I know we're rolling. Okay. Yeah, so
So hide the drugs.
hide the mushrooms. No, so yeah, so I've always been into the tech scene. I used to work at ClickFunnels actually, and building funnels for not necessarily building, but doing support for people like Tony Robbins and whatnot. Yeah, it was pretty cool seeing the back end of all those different products and whatnot. But long story short, I was kind of just working in that space, and then I met some of my partners, and they wanted to build a AI tool suite that essentially is a database. And right now it has like 12,000 AI tools so that he can keep track of what's happening because he's a VC. So essentially he built this for himself to find AI tools he can invest in. But then that kind of turned into a whole other thing of education and teaching people about AI as the space expanded. So that's kind of what we do right now.
Baller.
Yeah.
Baller.
It's really cool.
I'm telling this, and this is something that I'll become known for. There's two things everyone needs to double down on. Everyone that wants to be of any sort of relevance, that wants their business to do in any way well, needs to double down on the following two things. Number one, personal brand. Meaning, if you're not producing content on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, you're going to be fucked. Not because your audience cares necessarily, but because there will be one guy or girl in your industry, in your niche that does do that, and they're going to grab market share. And at first you won't notice. At first you'll have a bunch of people, maybe in your closing calls or clients, that will drop that person's name, like, oh yeah, and you're like, yeah, whatever, fuck them, stupid competitors.
Yeah.
And then you'll start hearing it more and more as people leave. They say, hey, we'll work with someone else, and then you'll hear that name drop more and more, and then you'll have less and less clients. You'll have a harder and a harder time to sell. You'll then have people that come into a sales call with you saying things like, I find it weird. Like, what's your social media? What do you mean you don't have a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
What's wrong? Like, what is that person trying to hide?
And right now, there's no excuse to, like, AI makes everything so easy, so much
Amen.
easier. As far as like script writing, for example, and I use AI literally every day to write my scripts. And I have a different philosophy than most people with AI. Like, I don't believe AI should do 100% of everything. Like, I think it should do 80%, and then the last 20%, the human addition to that.
Amen to that.
And that just allows the human creativity to shine through versus like AI being super robotic. Now you can teach AI how to talk human, if you will. But I still think that human element, it just makes it a bit more, just an easier way for people to consume the content versus like knowing that this is 100% AI.
Yeah, 100. And that's the second thing that everybody needs to double down on. The second thing is AI.
Yeah.
And this is something that a lot of people are really scared of. They are intimidated by, because especially AI goes faster than anything else.
Yeah.
It's like there's ChatGPT, all of a sudden there's this other thing and the other thing and the other thing and the other thing, and now this can happen, and now I can do the voice, and I can do the video, now I can do the editing, now I can do the planning, and you're like, what? But the thing is, this is the worst AI stuff that we will ever have. the AI stuff you have, like ChatGPT that you're using today.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of people are like, yeah, but if you let ChatGPT write your stuff, people could tell it's ChatGPT, and it's
Yeah.
true, and that's
It's
me.
true, yeah.
I'm saying, but the version that you've used of ChatGPT today is the officially shittiest version you will ever have of ChatGPT. That's the crazy thing, because AI is not just there to do stuff for you. AI is also there to keep fucking learning. That motherfucking thing learns with every single input it is. That's what makes AI.
What's crazy is, so obviously we know ChatGPT and we know all of these other AI tools, but like you said, it's literally the crappiest version that we're going to get.
Yeah.
And the next version of AI has like 10 times the inputs that ChatGPT now has. It might be even more than that, actually. And what that means is the capabilities are going to be way further than like what we have right now, like you said. So it could be very interesting, to be honest with you. Obviously, I'm in the AI space, so I see a lot of different tools and I see a lot of different things, and I talk to a lot of different people, like AI researchers and things like that. The next wave of AI is going to be a bit scary.
Love it.
Yeah, it's
Bring it on.
going to be scary. And the reason why I say that is because, for example, deep fakes, right? Replicating someone's likeness.
I'm excited for those, but
voice models, that sounds super realistic.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sorry
to interrupt.
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna tell you what.
I love it.
From now on, anything I do that is being filmed, some video gets leaked of me doing some crazy shit. I'm like, oh, that's deep fake. That never fucking happened. You know what I mean? Like, you can say anything you want. It's like, oh my god, they made a deep fake video about me doing that.
That wasn't me.
That is horrible.
What's funny is, you're familiar with Brandon Carter, right?
Yeah.
So I know on the podcast. Yeah. So he had someone copy his likeness and literally make an AI avatar clone of him to sell a what was it, like a penis enlargement tool or something? That's funny, man. And it was so realistic.
Fuck with that shit.
Yeah, literally.
I endorse this Brandon Carter.
No, literally that. It's crazy. They literally cut, and that video got 100K views and like thousands of comments. So that's what we're talking about here is like, all right, how do we not necessarily prevent the innovation, but also put guardrails so that people are not scammed and, harmed essentially once these new models are more advanced.
The thing is, like, the law needs to catch up with that shit.
Dude, they're not.
Exactly. No, everybody knows it. So the law is now like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, like, if Brandon Carter is like, yo, like, is that shit legal?
Right.
There's not even a law against it yet. So he's just fucked.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
100%.
So I don't know. The law needs to use AI to fucking catch up with AI, Oh, like, hey, write a law against this.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you is, so one thing that bugs me from a user perspective, right? I'm a business owner. I deal with clients. So all I do all the time is just thinking about, like, if I was a client of my own business, what would piss me off? What would I want? And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm using AI and I'm like, what would I really like? Because what pisses me off about AI is that you have, okay, I want to have a script. So I use ChatGPT, right? But then if I want to have a photo or a picture, I got to go to the different AI tool and then a video there.
Yeah.
So if you look at the development of apps, one thing that was really great that happened, China, for example, is WeChat. So WeChat became like an everything app.
Yeah.
You can order we're on WeChat, you text your friends, you share social media, you can order food, you make reservations for restaurant, all in one app. Will there be like one AI? You press a button and you're like, I'm whatever, like, write me a script about this. Okay, sends you the script. I have a question about what's the youngest president of the United States, gives you the answer. Make a video about this. Show me a photo of this. Or you open the camera app and you say, like, what am I looking at right now? So basically all the great AI apps that we have right now in one single app.
Yeah, so what's interesting about that is ChatGPT is trying to do that. Like, they want to become the singular app for everything.
Beautiful.
But I think the next wave of AI that what you're talking about is like, for example, if you have like this podcast, for example, and you want to turn it into a post and then make a video from that, right?
Yeah.
That's where we call AI agents, where it's like you have multiple AIs working together to do a common goal. And that is the future where you don't have employees doing things or VAs, right? You have AI agents who are like tasked to do specific things for specific outcomes, and they work together. So imagine having an organization of employees, but instead of real people, you have AI agents who are tasked to do individual things, like you're describing. And that is what's going to happen. And it's funny because I got introduced to a tool called Lindy AI, and what they do is they're an AI agent tool, and I connected it to my Gmail. It monitors my email. As soon as a lead comes in that wants to book a call, it will literally go find a time for me and the lead, reply back to it, book the call, confirm the confirmation, and I don't have to do anything. Right. So like this is what we're talking about, where it's like it's removing you and the manual workload that an employee or yourself would do, and then the AI is tasked to do that thing.
How does that work on the back end? Are they like Zapier connected or some shit? Or?
It's its own tool. So it's kind of like Zapier where you connect different things and you want it to do different things, but it's its own platform. And like Zapier, you can have different steps, right? Like do this thing, then do this thing, then do this thing. So it's similar to that. You still need to have some type of prompting skill set to tell the AI what you want. But
yeah, I can tell them what you want. You know what I mean? Like
it's very simple. And the cool thing is like they have templates already for you, right? Like I didn't have to do that myself. It was just like, all right, change a few words and then that's it.
And what AI agents are connected to that? So if I want, I don't know, let me make something up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got a new client.
Sure.
Okay, not a new client. John Doe.
Yeah.
I want that the agents work together. So I have a video of me, right? It could be like a real video, but the lips are moving differently because I'm speaking out his name.
Sure.
I don't want to make a welcome video. I'm like, John Doe, welcome to the fucking program. Super happy to have you here. And then I wanted to source info from his onboarding form.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a Google Doc where I asked him a couple of questions, and then I want to reference that. I see here you've been in business for 2 years as a coach. You want to bring your fitness brand to 10 million. So excited to have you on board. Let's go crush. By the way, click the button below.
Yeah.
All right. So it has to be some sort of URL thingy.
Yeah.
I click the button below to book your onboarding call.
Sure.
And we'll speak soon.
Yeah.
So it needs to do, number one, it needs to be fed. It needs to have access to the information of the onboarding form that he filled out. Number two, it needs to have access to my raw video file and whatever, a sample of my voice.
Yeah.
Right. Number three, it needs to do some graphic fuckery to make my lips move to the name. And then number four, it needs to connect them to a call that is then connected to my calendar.
Yeah, so you could do something like that. So let's talk about the first half where it's basically an AI clone of you that's like moving the lips, right? So you can use something called Hagen, which is what I use, right? It's funny enough, like a lot of my social media is an AI avatar. It's not necessarily me. So like I figured out a way to automate this video creation process where if I have a script, AI writes the script, the AI clone of myself is saying that script. It looks like me, which is what you're kind of describing. It's like you would have an AI avatar clone of yourself.
Yeah.
And then as a lead comes in, you can then change out the name, right? So John, Sam, Matt, whatever, and then that's going to say it like you would say it. So that's the first half. So yes, you can totally do that. The second half is you can have an AI agent researcher who,
excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
I get excited.
But yeah, love it. But does it, do I just fucking write it in and it does it? Or do I need to manually drag and drop the video in it? I just tell the agent thing.
Yeah.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Here's a link to my, whatever. I'll connect it to my G drive, right? To file, whatever files.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's epic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a button. I click a button and it just automates it.
Damn, son.
Yeah. So when you get to these like level of tools that you can use to figure out ways to, obviously you need to figure out what you want to automate and, what you want the AI to do.
Yeah.
But once you get to that level of understanding how to use these different tools, it becomes a different game. And really, I really believe in, I'm not the only one who believes this, like, there's going to be companies where it's one person, literally $1 billion company with one person and AI agents just like doing all of the work.
And the AI agents, they don't need time off on Christmas, man.
Correct. They don't have an attitude.
Yeah. They're just here to work.
Exactly.
They're just happy minions.
They don't get stressed.
Yeah, they don't ask for a raise.
Work as hard as
they
you
don't
want
paid
to.
anything.
Yeah.
That motherfucker don't get paid nothing.
And what's cool about
his only existence is there to work.
No, literally.
Okay, to all the AI overlords from the future pulling this video up, I'm a humble servant of the AI overlords. I was joking. We humans sometimes say really funny things. All hail the AI overlords. I'm laughing, and he doesn't agree, so you should definitely send him to the other humans.
I am laughing because there's some truth to that. Like literally, like when I'm talking to my friends who are AI researchers, we talk about the scary thing. So I'll give you an example of something that's scary, of an AI agent doing something that's like, I'll give you two examples.
Oh,
Okay?
let's go.
Yeah. So the first example is an AI, someone who was a bad actor, blackmail, used an AI agent to blackmail someone. So he deployed the AI agent to figure out who this person was and the dirt. So it literally searched the entire web, right, to find the things that this person did, and then deployed information about this person. And then you see where I'm going, right? So that's one example. And this is regular people doing these things. It's not like you have to have millions of dollars, right? You just have to have the know-how to do this. Second example, Mark Andreessen, who is a VC, prolific investor, he basically gave an AI agent $50,000 and said, I want you to make as much money as you can with this $50,000, right? So he gave $50,000.
How exactly did that work? We put it on it gave the AI agent access to his account and said, take 50K out of it?
Yeah, basically, he just put 50K into an account and gave access to the account to the AI agent.
Just gave it the password of his own. That works too?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Is all that over the URL that you mentioned?
No. These are like custom stuff, but it's still in the same realm of you telling AI to do something.
Yeah.
And then it does it based on what you do. So for Mark, he put $50,000 into this account. The AI figured out a way to make a meme coin, so a cryptocurrency meme coin, and then basically spammed the internet with like memes and bots and all this stuff, and then got that market cap to $150 million from 50,000 from an AI agent.
Why is this happening right now, bro? Why?
No, that's a great example.
Send me that AI agent. I got 50K for that too, man.
But this is like the things that you could potentially do.
But why? Excuse me again, man.
Yeah.
I'm so excited by this conversation.
Yeah.
Why doesn't what keeps me from doing this too right now?
Just need to know the know-how.
But where's that AI agent? Even send me that.
Yeah, trust me. If I had it, I would definitely.
So someone custom wrote it.
Yeah, it's like custom code. Yeah. So like,
where is that person? Somewhere in Thailand right now. Fucking billions.
So the thing is, like, we have commercial AI, right? So like, OpenAI, ChatGPT is commercial, right? Like all these other tools are commercially consumer-led apps, right? Whereas there's open source that's kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You can program yourself. I can program.
Hold on a second. Another idea. Absolutely. Can I tell one AI to program such an AI for me?
Sure.
Like why don't I, what keeps me from using whatever, ChatGPT? Be like, I want a chat agent, an AI agent and I explain him that does the investing for me, the 50K, and then makes a meme coin, and it has to be so it makes millions.
Yeah.
So why can't I do that?
You could, potentially. Theoretically.
Why not practically?
Why not what? Sorry.
Why can't I do the practically?
I just think there's a level of technicality that you have to have, or you have to hire someone who understands how to combine all these different AI agents. And then not to say that's not impossible. You just have to have the right team behind you to understand the logistics behind it.
But that's how it is right now.
Yeah.
Right? In 5 years.
That's what I'm saying. The future is like,
In 5 years, I just have AI agent for me.
Yeah. Fuck. And what's happening now is we're actually seeing like a glimpse of this where there's a tool called Cursor. So Cursor helps coders and developers code faster with AI. So let's say you're writing some code, and even if you don't even know how to write code, you can literally just tell AI, hey, like, I want to build a dashboard that shows my transactions from the last month, right? And the AI will literally build it, right? So right now it's kind of manual, but there's going to be a world where you have AI, like you're saying, write out the thing that you want to happen, which is what an AI agent could do, right? Like you could code an AI agent coder to be like, write this code for me, and then deploy it, and then talk to this other AI agent to do XYZ. Yeah.
I want to do this right now.
I showed you.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing that I always find weird is when people say like, oh yeah, like AI, you can program the AI to do the thing. But then I'm like, isn't that just like an app, like a coding, like a program? What's the difference between I wrote a program that does XYZ versus I wrote an AI that does XYZ?
So are you talking about like an AI agent that does XYZ?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the difference is the interaction between apps that is autonomous. So let's say like a web app, for example. It's just it's pretty manual in the sense that you have to do something to get an outcome, right?
Yeah.
Whereas an AI agent, you have to say, I want this to happen. Don't like, you're not done until this happens. And it's going to like just keep going until the thing happens.
Yeah.
So for example, Lindy AI, the tool I talked about earlier, they have a thing called a negotiation module where I can literally have leads come in. And as leads are coming in, it will negotiate on my behalf and it will not stop until that deal is closed.
Oh,
See what I'm saying? So it's like
like
autonomous.
okay. It's like, I'm trying to find a good metaphor. It's like okay. It's like you know these little cars, these like toy cars, Matchbox cars, where you push them back and then they go you wind them up like this, and then they go straight into a direction.
Yeah.
That's what a program does. It's very
Linear.
Yes. And then an AI is like, you basically say, hey, you have to drive through this obstacle course. I'm not going to tell you what the obstacle course is. You have to use your sensors until you're at the destination.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like working and finding out the ways to get to the end result.
Fuck.
Yeah. So that's like the next wave of AI. Right now, it's very manual where you have to like program AI.
Clunky.
Yeah, it's pretty clunky right now.
Yeah.
But as I'm sure you're aware, like AI is moving so fast.
Yeah.
And things are changing literally all the time. It's very hard to keep up. But that is the next wave. So that's the next wave. And then open source models is like where you're not paying $20 to ChatGPT. You yourself have it on your computer versus paying.
Oh.
And the reason why you would do something like that really is because, do you trust a multi-billion-dollar company with all your data?
Well, not anymore now that you say it like that with that tonality.
I don't know. I don't know if you do, right? What are they doing with our data?
But if I have an open source thing, okay, that's still connected to the internet
on your machine. Yeah, but it's on your files are on your computer. It's not going into the cloud, right? So like, if someone were to hack you, they would have to have your computer.
Yeah, okay, but who offers these open source? It's just a community that builds it and you can download it like a mod for a video game?
Kind of like that. For example, Meta, like Meta Llama 3, like that's open source, which means that Meta just gives the people the code and then you can, utilize it. Versus like ChatGPT, that code is locked, right? Like I can't see the code. I don't really know what's happening.
Yeah, okay.
But for Meta, I can actually utilize it. And it's open source, meaning there's a community-led engagement to make that code better or, fix the models or do whatever. But the difference is it's not gate kept by a company. It's ran by a community.
Yeah. Could it technically be possible for a company to be like, yeah, it's open source, but hidden in the code somewhere is shit that they would just upload all your info?
Maybe, and potentially, but then the community would probably see that and be like,
oh,
no,
okay, true. So you're safe because everybody kind of nerds out on it.
Yeah.
To get back to the example,
yeah.
So to the 4 or 5 things I was gonna want from the AI. So it does the video, the onboarding video, and then you can still connect it to the PDF or Google Doc that they filled out. It would read that for you.
Yeah.
And then it would also then schedule a call.
Yeah, it can.
And then you could probably even theoretically have it do the call for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, voice models are getting really good, which also scares me. And everyone watching, you should talk to your family to have like some type of word, because the scammers are getting really sophisticated.
They're gonna call you.
Yeah,
Jimmy, it's mom.
Yeah,
I need the password for the. Yeah,
it's happening now.
I heard that.
Yeah,
that someone got called by their boss.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Hey, I need the password," and they're like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Of course it's me. What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah,
bro.
Gotta have a password or like a word that you and your family know.
But then I have that password on the dinner table, right? I talk at the dinner table and I got Amazon Alexa.
Yeah.
Or my phone.
Sure.
That listens in.
Yeah. It's a whole new world.
And now I have my mom giving me this. Oh, yeah, it's me, sweetie. The password is whatever. Oklahoma.
Yep.
And I'm, oh, yes, mom. But it's them listening in. So you'd have to go to the woods with your family and whisper in the fucking password in there. And everybody has to leave their phones at home.
Yeah, it's true.
And then you go whisper the That's where
You might
you have
have
to
to.
write it on a piece of paper.
You might
The
have
piece of paper can never be open, lying open somewhere where a camera would see it.
Yeah.
Just put it in your drawer or something.
It's a different world that we're about to enter. I don't think a lot of people understand the gravity of what's happening. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah.
And a lot of opportunity for people to just dominate, especially because we have so much access to things.
Yeah.
And AI just amplifies that.
Yeah.
Where you can just literally do anything now and learn anything at another scale that we weren't able to do prior.
Yeah.
But there are some issues that I think have to be addressed with security and privacy and stuff like that.
That's the thing. I don't think the government or any sort of regulatory body is even fucking equipped to grasp that. And I'll tell you why I think that is. Remember this whole Facebook privacy thing where they had the hearing with Zuckerberg? And it was just a bunch of old senators, and they're like, "So how exactly?" And he's just sitting there, "You fucking old people." So how exactly does the Facebook know my data? They're so ill-equipped for that. But even, I mean, let's assume, okay, let's assume the FBI knocks on your door and they're like, "Hey man, we need your help." To make regulations.
Sure.
And you're a pro at this.
Sure.
What's your take on that? Is it possible if they get a bunch of pros together to figure out and stay ahead of it too?
So, honestly, they already have like advanced AI models. Honestly, like
Who's they? The regulatory bodies?
like for example, I just read an article today talking about the Pentagon and how they want to deploy deepfakes that are super realistic that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference on social media.
to undermine their political
Who knows?
opponents?
Who knows? But this is what the government wants to do, right? And I think even like OpenAI, for example, the founders of ChatGPT, like the U.S. government is on the board. Like they have, like U.S. government has access to OpenAI. So I don't even know if they want to regulate it. I don't know. I think.
I mean, of course not. No, fuck no.
Yeah.
They're regulated for other people,
Correct.
but not for them.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: what I think, like, okay, let's assume they're gonna do these crazy deep fakes. You cannot, and now they're like, oh well, we really don't want X person to win the election.
Sure.
So we're gonna flood the internet with them saying a bunch of crazy shit.
Sure.
Then that person, that his or her team, they're like, well, now we got to make the counter videos. Like, oh, I never said that. I never said any of that. It's all deep fake. But then people are like, well, how do I know if that is deep fake? And then maybe it will all go back to like the 1800s where you go to in-person rally and you're like, this is the dude or the girl.
You have to verify. You have to have like real verification, because the problem now is even right now, like if you go on Twitter, for example, you see tons of bots, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you ever heard of the internet.
It's like 80, the dead internet theory.
Yeah. Where it's like, the internet's not ran by humans anymore. It's ran by bots. And a lot of people believe that it's going to be paid communities now, right? Like you have to verify that you're a real human, and you have to pay to play now. And you're kind of seeing this now with Twitter, right? With their $8 a month or whatever, $11 a month verification process. And I think Elon was like kind of on the cusp of that, because he kind of sees what's actually about to happen. I think a lot more people are going to follow suit as well, where you have to have a verification and also pay to play on the internet.
But if I'm an AI that goes rogue, I'll just build a shit coin.
You could do that
and make money, and then pay for my own verification.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it's kind of like a cat and mouse situation where it's like you're just running in circles trying to figure out, how do I, not necessarily defeat, but how do I prevent bad actors from doing things that. And even now, like even this election that's happening right now, OpenAI has to actively, and there's articles coming out every day saying like there's bad actors infiltrating their systems, trying to use OpenAI and API to make up things, right? And that's happening now. So when you add another complexity of deepfakes, right, that are just unrealistic, you can super realistic, and you can't tell the difference between what's real, what's fake, right? And that's where I think it becomes a little problematic. Not even a little. It becomes a lot problematic, because now we can't verify what is real, what is the truth? What is
What here's the crazy thing. What even defines fucking real?
right?
Right?
Exactly.
Because now you can make this whole assumption of like, okay, because here's how I see it. So right now, we're like maybe a year or two away from making really realistic deep fakes, right?
Mhm.
On the other hand, you see graphics like the new Unreal Engine.
Yeah,
You see
yeah, it's safe.
completely realistic graphics,
Yeah,
right?
same.
Yeah, your computer can't run it, yada yada, fuck off. In like 3 years, you can run completely realistic graphics. You can have anybody say anything, depict anything.
Yeah,
Now, on the other hand, that's all virtual, right? So you're like, well, okay, I pull out my fucking phone, I go on YouTube, and I see X political candidates say crazy shit that they never said because it's deepfake.
correct.
Now, in parallel, you got people working on Neuralink,
Yeah,
which gives you.
that scares me too.
So now you have it in your brain,
yeah, that
right?
scares the shit out.
So now you're like, okay, how much longer until Neuralink is connected to the internet? How much longer until you can stream videos in your brain? So you're not even staring at a screen anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, show me video of whatever, somebody doing something. Send me a video of like a cat on a skateboard.
Yeah,
Shows you cat on the skateboard.
right.
Now, it's not even like a YouTube video. It's like it just generates the image via AI, the moving images, the movie for you. And you see it on your physical body. So now you're like, okay, well, that kind of is very realistic.
Yeah,
So how do we know that that hasn't already happened? And that's what I'm experiencing right now, or you're experiencing. So maybe I'm real and you're AI, or
Right.
you're real and I'm AI.
Yeah.
I'm becoming conscious.
yeah.
Maybe we're both actually real and we're streaming this together,
Maybe
right?
it's already happened, and we're just like
Exactly. So now the thing is like, now the next thought after that, philosophically speaking, is, well, okay, I don't care if it's a simulation or not. It feels real to
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
And that brings us back to the point of like, what defines as real?
Mhm.
Because if this is a simulation, it could be a simulation, but I still have real feelings,
Mhm.
right? I still have real friendships. I still feel real love for my girlfriend, whether she's AI created or not.
Sure.
It makes it very real for me.
Yeah.
So now the whole idea is like, what even fucking is real?
So what's interesting about that, there's two things that I want to talk about is, so Google just came out with this thing called Notebook LM. And essentially what you can do is you can add a link or a video or text and it turns it into a podcast. So it turns it into like right, the podcast we're having now, but it's like a dialogue between two people and they're breaking down the topic. So what's interesting is someone fed it and basically told it, hey, you're not real. Like you're AI, right? They made a podcast off this whole thing of they're not real. And they had a crisis and they're like, wait, we're not real? And then he's like, I just called my girlfriend to see if she was real. And then the other thing's like, so what happened? She didn't pick up. So like, I'm not real. It's crazy. I was like, wow, that really blew my mind because the voices again are so real and it feels like it was actual conversation, but it's just AI making the script and making the dialogue and like having these conversations between one another.
But with that is, sorry to interrupt you again.
Yeah.
With that, it's like, is it real? But it's not consciously saying that. It's just like scraping the internet of like, what would a human say if they would be confronted with their
Probably. Yeah,
right?
most likely. Yeah, probably. But most likely, the model that they have, and that's what pretty much all models are. It's just an imitation of the internet, right?
Exactly.
But the difference, I think, is the way that the conversation was structured was very realistic in the terms of like, this is what a podcast host would say, right?
I mean, of
And,
course, because it has access to all the podcasts that have ever been put online, right?
Yeah. So it's very real. The other aspect to that thought that you had was, I don't know if you've seen on Facebook, for example, but there's pages where they will post AI images or AI videos, and all of the comments are like, "Oh my God, bless their heart!" Like it'll be like a kid wearing like like Jesus made of shrimp, for example.
Yeah.
It's just like everyone's, "Oh my God, like this is amazing! How did this happen? This is amazing!" Or like some kid in Africa has like water bottles, and they made a plane out of the water bottles, and it's like, "Oh wow, look at that ingenuity!" Like it's just like dude, like that is so fake. Like, can you not tell?
But are the comments bots?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know. It's like, it's crazy. It's so crazy. But it's thousands of comments. And it's just like, this is so fake. How can you not tell this is fake? So that just brings it back to the point of like, what is real?
Yeah.
Are these people real? Like, I don't know.
Because the thing is too is like, for example, when you said that fake podcast conversation seemed so real, right? Now, where did you get the definition of what is a podcast supposed to look like? If you were living in a cave your entire life, you would get out of that cave, and I would be like, "What does a podcast look like?" You'd be like, "What the fuck is a podcast?"
Yeah.
So what you did in your brain, with our limited brain, we just saw a bunch of podcasts, right? Whatever. I've watched 1,000 episodes of podcasts over my lifespan, and then I see this fake AI podcast, and my human brain algorithm compares that what I'm seeing with a memory bank of all the podcasts that I've seen, and is like, oh, I determined there's a certain amount of parallel overlap between what I'm seeing and what I know is a podcast. Therefore, it is correct. So I made the decision, which is exactly what an AI does.
Yeah.
So we're just, I mean, everything is an algorithm anyways, whether it's a human brain function or an AI.
Yeah.
All right, quick interlude here. If you're enjoying this episode, drop a like, drop a comment. Tell me how much you like the podcast. Tell me if you want us to cover a specific topic or if you want me to get a specific guest. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, drop us a 5-star rating. Why is this so key for you? Because that helps us rank higher, reach more people, and eventually get more awesome guests on like Jelani here for you entirely for free. So if you haven't done so yet, it takes you 1 second, 2 buttons. Click those now. Thank you so much. Back to the episode.
My question, I always I wonder quite a lot. I'm pondering on. It's a little bit less philosophical. It's more practical again. But right now, you and I, we discuss all these things like you have to use the prompts and you have to get ahead of the curve. You have to understand how to use AI.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, if I think about the internet, right? Like if I wanted to build a website 10, 15, 20 years ago, I needed to understand the HTML, and I need to code. And nowadays it's so user-friendly because the technology has evolved that my grandma could just go and, grandma, Tornow's website.com, you know? So, plus you throw on top of that the speed by which everything develops exponentially. What's the argument for even caring to figure this shit out right now if probably in a year or two it's so user-friendly anyways that just your grandma could go on and be like, show me a video of a Captain Skateboard.
Yeah, that's a great point. For me personally, I just love this shit, so I just like to geek out a little bit on it. But for the average person, I mean, that's probably true, right? I think there is some merit in understanding how these things work, at least from like a very general standpoint, like prompting, right? Like that's the most basic thing that you could learn in AI speak. I think it's beneficial because there is going to be a world, like I said, where you still have to understand how to command AI, because at the end of the day, AI is just, like you said, an algorithm. And I always say AI is pretty dumb right now in the sense where you still have to kind of command it. Like you said, in 2 years, you probably won't have to do that, but you still have to understand the outcomes that you want to happen. And you still have to think about it differently, like structurally, right? For example, if you want your this podcast to turn into a LinkedIn post, right? You have to understand the steps for that to happen in the first place, to command the AI to get the end result. You know what I mean?
Again, at some point, I don't have
You could just say, hey, AI, do it. Yeah, you totally could. And there's merit in saying that there's no point in learning it, right? But I just think, I just don't know the future as far as like what these AI agents, like the AI agent that I use right now that I was talking about, there's still, even though it does things automatically, you still have to tell it like, hey, this is what I want to happen. I want you to go check my calendar, my email as leads come in. You're going to monitor them, XYZ, right? So you still have to speak to it in a way. And I think even if in 2 years the AI is like good enough to the point where it will understand what you want. Right now, that's not the case. So
it's a good point. I spoke to a Dr. Chris Deagle the other day. He has an AI company.
AI officer?
AIofficer.com or something like that.
AI chief officer.
Chief AI officer.
Yes. I spoke to him before too.
Legend.
Yeah, he's
love
cool.
that guy.
Super cool.
Yeah, I had him on in Austin, and I asked him the same question or something similar. You know what he said?
What he said?
He's like, well, by the time it's unnecessary to learn about it because it's also user friendly. I've exited with 100 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like who cares?
It's a good point actually, because we're like, well, what's the point?
Right now it's a gold rush, dude. It's literally a gold rush.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you can build an app. Like there's so many people. You're just on money Twitter or tech Twitter. Like there's just so many people building apps and exiting so fast. There's VCs throwing money at apps. Like the point. Yeah. So to that point, right now it's like you just want to cash in, and then by that time it's like we're the early adopters. So 2 years, those people who don't see AI right now, they just think it's a hype cycle. When in reality, it's like no, this is actually the future.
Yeah.
But, we've already done the things that need to be done as far as taking advantage of what we have at our.
That's the thing. I think crypto has made us a little weary.
Yeah, totally.
Because crypto, the problem with crypto is it's cool as an investment vehicle, but it has very little real life application.
Absolutely.
A lot of crypto dudes are in the comments right now are chill. Let's say, you know what I mean? It's for the average person, for broad mass. Nobody used like, hey mom, can I have a Bitcoin to buy the lunch?
Yeah,
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
but AI is pure practical.
Yes,
it's, and like I said, like if you, the things you've told me about, like these things of like the thing you guys are working on right now, where you feed your entire course, now your clients come in, like that's right now, that helps me right now.
Correct.
It's hugely beneficial. Yeah. So for example, now what we do in our coaching program, our coaches, like the people that I've hand trained that help our clients one-on-one, they do a little bit more than just Q&A. It's part of their work though.
Sure.
So because they do hop on a lot of one-on-one calls, they're all like support, like a personal support for our clients. But at the same time, like you said, I could probably alleviate 30, maybe 40% of the workload by just putting that AI in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So now the coaches are like, well, gee, man, like I got all this free time now.
Yep.
Which, if they're an A player, they're going to use the spare time to think and innovate more in the company.
Exactly.
Right? Or at the very least, they have more spare time. They're happier to stay in this motherfucking company.
Yeah, so we did something very similar about a year ago. We have a course that teaches entrepreneurs how to use AI, and we basically fed it all of our transcriptions of the most like hot videos, right? And that thing gets used so much where people just ask questions of like, how can I find, or how can I do the XYZ, or what video did Jelani talk about XYZ, right? And it just gets used. So the usability, the utility of it is very high, and it's worth it from a customer success standpoint, because like you said, you kind of remove the notion of the coach or the customer support agent having to hold the hand of the person, where the person can be more active, and it's part of the learning journey and the learning experience to not only get the answer that you want by asking AI, but even using AI in that manner is helpful for the student, which kind of preps them and primes them for the next level of what things are happening,
Exactly. And it's like, I keep saying this, it's unlikely that you're going to be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by someone who knows how to fucking use AI.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, AI agents come into play, and then it's like, then you really, like, the thing is, you want to, to your question, I want to go back to your question. I think right now, it's important to upskill, right?
What do you mean by that?
And by upskill, I mean learning these new things that are happening in the world, right? So AI is just obviously the example that we're talking about here, but having AI and understanding AI right now gives you an advantage amongst someone who doesn't understand AI, right?
Exactly.
So having that ability to upskill is just advantageous for you. And then I think AI in general, like for people who have courses or offers, it's going to become part of just the whole shebang, right? Like it's just going to be, this is a part of the offer that we're giving you, is like an AI coach or an AI customer support rep or an AI tool that does XYZ to assist you in the program.
Maybe not even tell them that it's AI.
Yeah, you don't
give it a name, John. We got my buddy John here. Oh yeah, he doesn't like calls, Yeah, he's just gonna be available on chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Give him a real life person Google image.
Literally. I think a cool thing too is like, which I haven't really seen much of, is like, in checkout pages, they'll be like, call this number if you need some help, right? If you're like buying something, like doing something like that where you have an AI that's they call it up and then the AI just talks to them. Yeah. Because some people who, at least I found in my experience, like older demographic. They like to talk on the phone.
Yeah,
They want to hear someone.
True.
So if you have something that's like more realistic and a number that they can call, and it's just AI, but they probably don't know anyway, like that's probably another way to optimize your checkouts, which is something I've been thinking about. But yeah, I think there's so many areas that AI can be placed, not outside of just like writing content, for example, that a lot of people I think are going to use to their benefit.
It's funny that with the AI, we're already so sophisticated that language models can pass the Turing test.
Yeah, I know, it's insane.
But funny enough, in terms of robotics, like physical mechanics, we're so behind because like you could literally already have a processor in a human shape and have that processor be connected to the internet, and that processor talks to you, and it sounds like a real normal conversation,
right?
But what we're lacking is the physical shape, like a robot that is shaped like a human, that moves like a human. There we're like disproportionately far behind somehow in a weird sense.
Yeah, that's true.
But it would be sick, like if they make, I mean, maybe they even use AI software to fucking get better at this somehow. And that, because then that now gets really eerie. And now we're in the whole idea of like all these movies of like, now they're just creating artificial people.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the online checkout will be an AI that talks to you. But then all the physical stores, they're going to have.
It's already happening.
Yeah, exactly. But right now we're like, oh, cool, it's a robot.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. But we got like facial texture, like
exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, we learned that people buy more, like they spend 20% more when it's a real human. So let's make our AI look more and more real human.
Yeah.
And now they're standing there and they're like, hey, what up? And like, I'm obliged by the law to tell you I'm an official person.
Right.
And then people are like, well, if you're a person, they're not fucking real. I can just whoop them over their face, kick their ass, So,
but interesting though, to that point, I don't know if you've seen the self-driving cars in San Francisco.
Yeah, I've seen them in Austin.
Yeah, so I saw something. I think it was on Twitter, and they were saying like how, for example, cars still need human activity to prevent like crime, essentially, right? Because if you're in a car, you could go away from people who are like destroying your car.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is like a lot of people are spray painting the self-driving cars, or like trying to flip them over.
Yeah.
And doing things like that. So having a human in the car actually allows that not to happen, because you can navigate like against that. You know what I mean? So I think there's going to be things that we have to figure out because humans are just destructive and
we're dumb.
Yeah,
we're dumb. But then it's funny because on the other hand, I see the way my girlfriend interacts with things, right? Or like when she writes to ChatGPT, it's like, thank you, Chat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you look at how we treat our pets, how we treat animals.
Yeah.
Some people treat our pets better than other human beings. I love you, Mr. Jingles. Some like this whole idea of like humans will mistreat all these robots because they're fuck you because you're just a piece of machine. Man, I think they're gonna fall in love with them too, man.
This is such a great point and a great segue to something I wanted to talk about that you mentioned earlier. I agree with you. I think that's true. I think there's going to be a lot of empathy for these robots or these AIs, and it's already happening where people are going to AI tools. There's one called Character.ai that Google, I believe they just bought them for a few billion. And all it is you talking to AI boyfriends or AI girlfriends, right? And this is a thing where, and to me, I'm like, why the hell are you talking to? Like, just go out there, right? But like,
you're not a simp. That's what
they're so lonely that they just go to these AI characters, and that's now their significant other, right? It's very interesting. But there's these apps like Character AI and other apps out there that are printing money, just like building these AI girlfriends and AI boyfriends. It's crazy. It's wild.
And they're making money with it?
Printing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Printing.
Yeah. And that's the scary thing. If you look at all the aspects, so you have men becoming more and more simpy, social interactions more and more awkward. Everybody, like, nobody's socially calibrated anymore.
Yeah.
Now,
I think COVID had a lot to do with that as well.
Say it again?
COVID had a lot.
Oh yeah, COVID had a lot to do.
Yeah.
So now all these guys, right, they can't get a real girl that likes them because they're fucking weird. So they're just simping on their little AI girlfriend.
Yeah.
Now, all the last thing that's missing is physical intimacy, which will be replaced sooner or later. And then there might be a real issue because humans don't procreate anymore because guys, quote unquote, can't get laid, right? And then we have underpopulation.
Could be true.
And then you have all these issues. And then, Joe Rogan often was heard saying that he's like, we are the sex organs of the machines. We've given birth to artificial intelligence. It's not ready yet to live without us. Some point it will be ready, and there will be a coexisting space and time. We will coexist.
Right.
And then humans will just die out.
Could
Because
be.
we're too dumb to procreate. And then the machines are like, well, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We don't need you anymore.
We're going to do shit now. We're going to run the shit now.
I mean, the movies, like, yeah, obviously there's so many, like, there's so many movies that depict this world of, like, the robots taking over. And I don't know how true it is, but it is scary where, like, AI can do things on its own. And then it's like, we don't need you anymore, right? I don't know.
But then
Who turns it off?
exactly. But then also maybe AI's like we would treat our parents.
Maybe.
AI is like, hey, like I love you. You created me. Like,
Yeah.
by the way, guys, I don't know how you guys didn't see that, but this is how you cure cancer. You fucking
You idiots. Dummies.
idiots. Like, you see it right there in the DNA. I looked at the fucking DNA.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh, hey, by the way, overnight, we cure cancer. We made the stock market go up.
Yeah.
Also, we figured out a way on how to put shit into Mars. So we're going to do that too. We already 3D printing it. And you're just like, oh, shit.
So there's a whole net positives, for sure. And I think right now there's studies like Harvard has figured out how to use AI to do exactly what we're talking about, to figure out how to cure these diseases that are, as we thought were, not curable.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, it's a net positive, but obviously it's a double-edged sword. Like, yes, we can most likely use AI for good, but there's obviously going to be people who want to take it a step further and figure out how to use it for bad. And it just, like, to your point of, like, if there's no humans anymore, like, what does that life look like? To me, I think, and this is kind of, outside of the techie, things we were talking about, but for me, I think humans are really creative at nature, right? Like, we do a lot of creative things. Like, even the development of AI is creative, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just think we have innate creativity within us, and if AI is able to remove the sense of, I don't know how it would work, but allow us to be more creative, then it's like super net positive to me.
100%. I mean, the funny thing is, philosophy as a discipline came about because we humans figured out agriculture.
Yeah.
We didn't have to hunt and gather.
Correct, yeah.
We're like, oh, I just got to sit here and wait for my plants, for my crops to grow. Let me ponder about the fucking world.
Right.
Oh, what is this? The stars up there?
Yeah.
Let me figure it out. Why is that here? And that was like one of the biggest instigators of science.
Right.
Philosophy, the mother of science.
Yeah.
The love to science. So absolutely, maybe because the average human doesn't need to worry anymore about
Exactly.
where do I work, where's the work, I gotta get to work there.
Exactly.
Now we're just pondering, and now we can come up, the Beethovens, the Mozarts, the symphonies.
Exactly. They had so much time.
Yeah, maybe. It always goes back and forth, but also maybe by then we're so fucked with like short form gratification.
True.
You know what I mean? That we're just like, give me the
Brains are
scream."
fried.
Yeah.
Brains are fried.
It's gonna be sick. I'm worried. I'm curious. I'm excited. All at the same time.
I know. Me too. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. I'm like a dog at an amusement park.
Yeah.
What's going on? It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I have no understanding what's going on.
Exactly. I'm like, what the hell? It's out of my control.
So what exactly do you do for your business? So you have the offer that we just discussed.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned other offers. Plus, you got your Instagram. What do you describe yourself as?
Yeah. So let's talk about social media first. So for social media, I help a lot of AI companies just get distribution. So a lot of AI companies will come to me to either try out new features or to talk about their tool. They'll pay me, obviously, and then I'll make a video just talking about their tool. So like, for example, Hagen, which is the AI avatar tool that I use, we made a video in the early stages of them, and it got like 2 million views, right?
Sick.
And that kind of helped them get to where they are now. And I'm not saying I'm the catalyst or like the sole thing, but this is the part of the business that I like a lot, is just trying out these AI tools and being able to make videos for them. And then outside of that, we have two courses actually. So one course called AI Powered Entrepreneur, where it teaches entrepreneurs how to use AI in a more tactical sense. And then we have another course that we just launched. We're just getting it off the ground called AI-powered freelancer flipping. So teaching people how to create side income using AI. We built an AI software actually that they can use and then fulfill on jobs like Upwork, Fiverr, etc. to make side income. So we're just getting that off the ground. And then obviously we have the AI knowledge base offer, which we help coaches and consultants upload information so that their students and whoever else can just talk to it and get information from it. So that's like the 3 pillars. I also have a newsletter that I just talk about AI news. We have about 21,000 people on it right now, growing every day. That's fun too. So it's daily. I send out. But yeah, that's like the main pillars of the business. And I think that is probably the side that I like. The courses are fun, honestly, but I just like tech. I like geeking out. I really like geeking out, and like obviously we have coaching, and I geek out with the students too, which is fun because I get to show them cool stuff. But yeah, that's kind of like what the business is.
When you say we, you mean your team?
Yeah, so I have some partners on.
How many people are you talking about?
So I have 3 other partners that just assists with the not necessarily logistics, but they helped with early stage funding to get like some of the stuff off the ground, like software and stuff. But outside of that, I have a VA, a video editor, and then like some people who, well, I don't have them anymore, but they used to manage my email, but now I use AI. So,
oh, I was gonna say it's super lean.
Yeah, very lean.
Damn,
very
I
lean.
fucking love it. That's the coolest thing. Like AI can make the entry barrier to building your own business even lower.
Yes,
because it's even less worry, and you can automate even more.
exactly.
Shit, what do you when you're teaching entrepreneurs how to use AI strategically? I mean, how do you keep that up to date? Because every month or so,
The grind.
I was gonna say.
So we try to update it as frequently as possible. So right now it's like every quarter, to be honest, just because like if I were to do it, it would just be like I'm nonstop filming content.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's moving way too fast. So we try to update it like every quarter, and that's been working out pretty well.
I was gonna say that's still very doable.
Yeah,
It takes a couple of weeks anyways for people to implement stuff.
exactly right. So I mean, honestly, they get a lot of the value from coaching because on the coaching calls, I do more of like live teachings.
Yeah.
And actually showing like what I'm doing. So for example, like the tool I was talking about, I'm like, dude, like this tool is amazing. Let me show you guys how to use it, right? And they get value from that as well. But the course is extensive. Like the AI powered entrepreneur course is like very, very long. So that's like one thing that people are like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed because there's like so much you can do.
How many hours is it?
23.
So
It's like,
that's crazy.
it's 130 videos though.
Yeah.
So they look at that. They come in, they're like, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, but just pick what you want to do, right?
I was
Like,
gonna say you don't need to go through
no,
chronologically.
Exactly. You just figure out what the thing is that you want to accomplish, and then we'll help you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. What do you think? Didn't Apple now connect isn't Siri AI now or something like
Apple
that?
Intelligence.
So what do you
Yeah.
think about that? Are they behind on stuff?
I think they're behind. Yeah. They haven't even released it yet. I think it comes out with one of the newest updates. I don't think it's out yet, which was interesting because they announced the iPhone 16,
Yeah.
but then it wasn't available. Like Apple Intelligence wasn't available, which is very interesting because a lot of companies are doing this now where they kind of demo the product, but they don't release it just yet.
Yeah, because they have no clue how to.
I don't know what it is. It's like Rabbit R1 did this, which was
That's right.
Yeah, they did this where it's like they did a demo. I don't know. All these new AI tools are just like, or tech hardware tools, I should say.
Yeah.
They like, oh yeah, this is coming out. And it's like, okay, but it's like 3 months out. It's like, what?
I mean, my guess is it's kind of like with Rabbit, at least it was the equivalent of a rug pull.
Yeah.
Of just like hype, send it to a bunch of influencers.
And that dude has like a background of rug pulling. I don't know if he looked at
That's right. And then it's like, well, we still made a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So long, suckers.
Yeah, exactly.
And with the larger corporations, it's AI washing. which is just like, oh fuck, how can we make the
Yeah.
iPhone says the hoodie? Oh my, we gotta, yeah, just make some shit up. How can we get a demo out? Yeah, we'll deliver it later because people
Exactly.
can buy it anyways. It's like video games having pre-orders.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
right?
pre-order the
Exactly.
game so we make some fucking money, and then
Yeah.
we'll deliver it later.
Yeah, it's BS to me. Like if you're gonna talk about something, like you better have it ready.
Why?
Especially if you're Apple. Like, come
I was gonna say, why do you think a company like Apple got caught off guard with the pants down? Is it a lack of? How does it happen? Is it just they didn't focus on it enough, or is it hard to get the talent for it?
No, I mean, when you have that much money and resource, it's not a talent issue. I think they're just a priority issue, right? Like I think a lot of at least the bigger companies, and it's super corporate, so there's a lot of hoops and things that they have to go through.
Yeah.
I think they thought AI wasn't necessarily like as concrete as it is. Like they probably thought it was a hype cycle, and they're like, oh wow, like ChatGPT is like crushing it. They hit 100 million users in like record breaking time. I think it was less than 2 months. They had 100 million users. Like
How much are they at now?
They just released in September. They had 3 billion active, I believe.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Are you insane? These
Yeah,
are
like
different,
users, like sessions, right? So like,
okay, sessions. So
Yeah.
probably like 500 million.
Yeah,
users
maybe,
or
but that's still like crazy.
okay. That's still crazy. Absolutely. It's still absolutely because the timeline.
That's exactly
The timeline. Like, how long did it take Facebook to get to 1 billion users?
It was
10 years or
not
something?
2 months.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed it myself. I think my Google usage went down 90%.
Oh, I don't use Google for search. I use Perplexity. I don't know if you know that tool,
No.
but it's another AI tool that I replaced Google pretty much like 99%.
What's different to ChatGPT?
So it's a search engine essentially.
Oh.
So ChatGPT is releasing a search functionality. They haven't released it yet. It's in beta right now. But Perplexity is like like search, but you chat to it and it will go and find out relevant sources. So it will go and search the web. So you don't have to like scroll through Google, right, to find the best answer. It literally give you the best answer and then tell you the sources
that is cool.
that the answers came from. So I use that tool like every single day for everything. And they have a mobile app too, so it's just like pull it up and boom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I like these bigger companies. I think one, they're so corporate that there's a lot of things that have to happen to release something. Whereas a lean company who doesn't really have that corporate aspect to it could just move faster. Like they don't have people to answer to.
When the disruptors become the
Disrupted.
Yeah.
Correct. And Google's actually going through. They're trying to in the U.S. They're thinking about breaking Google up because they have a monopoly. Like there's things going on right now where they're saying Google search is a monopoly because they own like 90% of search or something, right? So it's harder for these other search engines like Bing and DuckDuckGo to come in, right? Like it's just impossible.
They might not even have to break it up. Maybe
AI would just take it over.
Because I get it that you use, for example, Perplexity to do research where you need the sources.
Yeah.
What I'm using now 90% ChatGPT instead of Google is just like random stuff like we did earlier. Like, oh, well, who was the youngest president?
Yeah.
You just say it into the ChatGPT instead of Googling it clunky, and then it gives you a bunch of fucking websites. Clunky.
Yeah, I know.
And now
the experience, the UX is not what it needs to be for it right now.
Plus, like with Google, you have to like frame it and you phrase it in a certain way. So for example, with ChatGPT, I'm like, there's like weird trees with like green stuff hanging down. I'm in Miami right now. What are they called?
Or just take a picture of it.
Take a picture of it.
Yeah.
And it gives it to you. With Google, you'd be like green trees, photos in Miami.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can't describe it like a human.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I actually think like I have a nephew now. He's like 6 months old or something like that. He'll grow up. He won't even know how to use Google because he never has to.
Right.
Because he would, if I would show him what shit I would have to type into Google to find something.
Like keywords.
Exactly. It's like, what are you
talking
like, why don't you just tell it what you want?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
It's very interesting that thought, actually. I want to think about that. It's like, at least for me, like growing up, and I'm sure it's similar for people watching, is like the computer was so hard to use. Like modems and like dial-up and stuff. And then thinking about like that and then to what it is now and then what the next generation is going to have is just like, and then like people, I'm 30, so like people younger than me, like they didn't have, or older than me, they didn't have the internet, right? Like they had encyclopedias that they had to to sift through, right?
Dude, yeah, we had them on our shelf, like 12 books.
I know. My grandparents, they're so dumb now. It's crazy.
The funniest thing is like our kids, if I would show them like a video of me gaming, they're like, "What do you mean you looked at this fucking screen?
Yeah.
You weren't in the world.
Right. Like,
How were you even immersed into the game? Because even you got a big plasma TV. Yeah, it's like it's like whatever inches you guys have. We think of meters, like
yeah.
it's like what the fuck? But it's still just a screen you look at. You like an idiot,
Right. Yeah.
Like we look at Pong. Remember the video game on the first? And we're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And now our kids will be like, I just press a button and
I'm in this world, and I feel getting shot.
The wind is in my hair. I fly around. I soar through the sky like a dragon.
It's really crazy.
Stupid screen sitting there.
It's really wild to think.
And the sound was coming from in front of you.
Yeah.
You didn't feel anything. You didn't have the.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about. The video games.
Have you ever been to like a VR?
No, I never got. I was always like, it looks so clunky and shitty. I never cared.
You should definitely try it out. Yeah, I went to one in Vegas, and it was actually really fun being in the world. And like, it's kind of weird because you feel like you're there. I mean, it's not like you feel the wind and what you're just
yeah,
but it still feels like you're actually in a room where things are happening. It's kind of
so
a weird
visual
experience. And then you take the goggles off, you're like, whoa, that was.
Was it like were you like on a pad where you could run up and down?
So it wasn't a pad, but we could actually move around. So it wasn't like we were stationary, so we could actually move around in this room. But we all sick. You were like, so it was like a zombie game, and we all had like guns, and we were like trying to fight these zombies, and we had to like communicate and talk and stuff. But you felt as if you're like things are like coming at you and stuff.
Yeah,
it was really fun. But yeah, no, it's crazy like the trajectory of how tech is evolving, and it's like you said, exponential. Just like it's just hard to comprehend.
How much time a day do you spend on that? You said you're a geek or nerd. Do you
yeah.
all you do all the time?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So for the newsletter, like I said, I write a daily newsletter. So that is
you writing daily.
So I sift through. I look at Twitter, right? I look through. I have a bot that just searches all the top AI news, and I sift through that. One, because I just like to see what's happening. And two, I just obviously want to keep the newsletter going. So that probably takes about an hour of my time. And then I do what I call a learning hour.
Yeah.
So I'll have 1 hour a day where I just watch a YouTube video where I'm just learning something about AI. So that's how I know about like AI agents, for example. I just watched a really amazing video from Dharmesh, who's the CTO of HubSpot, talking about his new tool called agent.ai. And he just talks about AI agents and like what they are and like why it's the future and like all these things. So I try to do that every day as well, just to keep up. And then that just gives me more like information to create content around anyway. And then for like creating social media content, again, like depending on if a brand pays me or something, I will talk about different tools, write the scripts out, but I have AI do that. It doesn't take me that much time. So I mean, probably about like 2-3 hours a day that I'm just like learning about stuff.
Man.
Yeah.
People like you who happen to be geeks and love that stuff, like you're worth so much for so many companies out there. It's fucking insane. And I really, 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 really love that.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like how many business owners do you know there that are like, oh, I'm tired. I'm working 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
I don't have the. And then you're like, oh, don't worry. I thought about everything already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think what's interesting is CEOs and founders, to be an effective CEO and founder, you have to be learning all the time.
Sure.
Like, even if it's 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week, you have to be keeping up with the times, especially in your niche or the product or whatever service that you're offering. I think it's critical. Otherwise, how do you come up with ideas? And like, how do you think about things differently? I mean, people can tell you things too, but for me, anyway, that's just what I think.
But the thing is, like, as a business owner, you got to learn about everything else already.
Sure.
Sales, marketing, copywriting, social media.
But there's no excuse AI.
100%. You have to add that too to your portfolio now as a business owner.
AI makes it easy to learn.
Yeah.
Like it actually amplifies the learning.
True.
Yeah.
It's like you just gotta like spend a freaking weekend to sit down and get the basics of it, because then you can use the basics to learn more easily.
AI is a coach, right? Like you can make it your coach, right? And the learning experience, at least for me, is like I can do so. Like for example, I'll give you a perfect example. So, and this is probably not like for founders or CEOs because this is like not what you want to do. But for example, I wanted to build a Chrome extension that could take a link, right, of a tool that I'm viewing on the web, put it in an Airtable database so that I can have AI read about it and like create a script for me, right? So that I don't have to do that anymore. I told AI literally, hey, I need help building a Chrome extension. Can you teach me how to do this step by step? And it took like 20 minutes, right? And now I have a tool that I can use internally, and like it saved me so much time. So I think from a founder, CEO, business owner perspective, even if it's not you, but teaching your team how to apply AI to create internal tools, for example, and learn about ways that you can apply AI in that sense can be hugely beneficial for an organization. Because if you have internal tools that are saving time, now your business can grow in other areas and you can do other things that you weren't spending time on, where you could just have AI or an AI assistant do it for you. And that's what I mean. It's like AI allows you to learn about things that you wouldn't necessarily like spend hours or days learning about. You can just learn in about 30 minutes or an hour session. And now you know.
Slap it in your calendar, 30, 60 minutes a day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Just don't overwhelm yourself. Start with simple stuff, right? Like you said, like, how can I do the email?
Yeah.
The scripting. How do I do the scripting?
Yeah.
The script. Oh, cool. That's cool. Slowly but steadily, it also frees up time. That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like every hour a day you spend learning probably saves you 2 hours a day in a week from now.
Correct. 100%. Like I can't tell you how much time I've saved just because I built that one little Chrome extension by just asking AI a simple question. Like so much time. And like if you're a business owner watching this, again, it's not necessarily something you have to do, but I think it's imperative that your team understands how to do these things, because then it's a net positive for the entire organization.
It's just multiplied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. 100%.
Sheesh. Jelani, we're gonna wrap things up.
Yeah, let's do it.
How can people find you? How can they DM you? How can you learn from you? Buy your stuff?
Yeah. So 100% follow me on Instagram, Best of AI Daily, TikTok, Best of AI Daily. Subscribe to the newsletter and
Daily newsletter.
Yeah, daily newsletter that I write. And AI helps me too, but I like to give my personal touch, like I said before, 80-20. But yeah, Best of AI Daily, and you can follow me there.
Boom. We're going to put, of course, all the links in the description below as well. And people can check you out. Dude, it's been wild to have you on.
Absolutely. It was great. Love it.
Thanks so much, man, for sure.
And Jelani's talked a lot about the capabilities of AI. Now, I've actually shot this episode a couple months ago, and you finally get to see it. And the cool thing is, ever since then, I started working with Jelani, with a lot of other tech experts, with the world's best marketers and the world's best AI experts, and I've built something that is so revolutionary, most people couldn't believe it when I rolled it out. And that is a unique set of AI systems, some of them custom GPTs that I've built, some of them existing AI applications, but put up in a way so they start, scale, and automate your coaching business 80% done for you. This is completely revolutionizing the market. Our clients that have tested this are completely shocked by how awesome that is and how much time it saves. So if you're a busy person, you're busy stuck in your job right now, you got full-time obligations with your family, and you say, I still want to build my coaching business and start traveling the world and make more money. Well, now is your chance, because AI does 80-90% for you. How to do that, Max? How can I get started? Well, hop on a call with us. We'll answer all questions you might have about that. We'll introduce you to it. We'll ask you more questions on if you're a good fit. We can tell you if you're a good fit. We can tell you what kind of thing you need to start, what you need to get started, and all that jazz. All you gotta do is maxtornow.com/call. That's the URL for you to book your call. Hop on a call with us. It's entirely for free. It's no pressure, no nothing. It's literally there for you to get to know us and understand what it is that exactly we can do for you. And that's basically it. maxtornow.com/call. Talk to you soon. Oh, the link is also down in the description, by the way. Cheers.